like waiting till January 1st to make the changes that I need to make. But the changes we make will be based on our habits, our routines that we establish ourselves, and a couple of other things that we need to define for ourselves. Because if the world keeps defining these things for us, then we're not going to be the best version of ourselves, which is what we want. We want a situation where whatever you're doing, you are presenting yourself to the best of your ability as who you authentically are. Now, is this easy all the time? No, because the creative world is just very, very tricky. The same group of people keep getting the opportunities. We have ideas and we are just waiting for the right moment. Sometimes it takes the right person. Even if you have the best ideas, you don't always get picked. So how do you still sustain yourself while you are waiting? How do you become that person that you believe you are? What do you even see yourself as when it comes to your industry? Do you see yourself as someone that is just a little fish that nobody should bother with or no one should get to know? Or do you see yourself as that best person in your industry, the one that is non-negotiable, that you are the only one that we can work with? So this is just what I was talking about briefly. So we're not just having a wish list of what we want to do. So we're moving from wishful identity to daily alignment. The beautiful thing about this is what we do every day counts. So when I said do the 60-second Jaga Jaga video or write daily, it was meant to build something in us. And if we have a conversation about it, some people started, paused, and then some people struggle with the idea, even with the daily routine of having a morning routine, afternoon routine, and an evening routine. Most especially if you are a creative and you don't work for anybody, you work for yourself. You need to build your routine by yourself. So you have to guard the time that you have. You have to ensure you protect your time, protect your energy, protect your work, and that you are working on your business and in your business, because sometimes we're working on all the other lovely external things that people get to see, but we're not even presenting ourselves to people. So a little icebreaker before we continue. And I just want everyone to do something simple. So you're going to introduce yourself, and then you can say either a metaphor or a quote or a phrase that describes how you are feeling about your creative journey. So I can say my name is DK Jonah and I'm just a lost sheep at this point in time because I have an idea of what I need to do, but everywhere it seems that AI is taking over. People are just doing anyhow, anyhow. Somebody will just do a video in their room and they've gone viral. And me that knows everything, I am still standing here. That's an example. That's what I want us to do. Now, it's just for the fun of it. No, I always say it could be where you are right now is not where you would always be on this journey. You are on the journey for a reason, and you are growing, you are learning, and you are moving every single day. It's not sometimes when we have these conversations, we take it too serious. Let's not take it serious. Or it could also be how you feel about the creative industry. I spoke to someone over the weekend and it sounds like a good deal to take on, but I was like, hmm. And she was like, oh, we've worked with because it's a Nigerian brand, we've worked with a Proco doctor, we've worked with all these people, you know how expensive they are. And I was upset. I was like, oh, now no, they learn that in this creative industry, we go for the big people and we think that we can borrow their audience. We forget that we need to build. So that was my only little rant about the industry this weekend. So, Isioma, I don't know if you want to go first. Your name and how you feel about this creative journey.
Hello, can somebody go ahead of me, please? I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
all right. E.T., please, can you go ahead over? And Lola, are you driving?
Hey, DK. No, I'm not driving.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, you go first. Since you've okay, ET has unmuted first. All right, ET. Yes, yes, hear from you.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
My name is Iti. I'm Iti Bauer, and my creative journey has been, I think a very, it's had its ups and its downs. Well, not really downs, it's had its ups with like fast acceleration and then its moments of slow, but steady kind of moving forward. Despite the fact that, sometimes I feel like I'm totally stagnant, but when you look back, you're able to still see that, hey, you've done something and, you're still in a different place from where you were before.
Yes.
Um, I am currently at a place where I know that, my greatest asset is myself, but also my
Good.
greatest my greatest setback is also myself in terms of my discipline
Aw.
habits. Just because no matter how many times DK tells us to put things in our diaries, even though I put life in my diaries, I still need to make sure I'm intentional about creating time so that I can continue and consistently to get things done.
Yeah,
But it's been a good journey so far.
it's been a good journey. Lovely. I like that. I like the fact that you're honest with yourself to say this is where I am, but as well, I play a role in this. Thank you so much. All right, Lola, you're next.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone.
Hey, Lola.
Sorry, I'm not feeling too well.
Yeah,
So
sorry. And I saw your video yesterday. I was excited.
thank you so much. That actually took a lot of energy, but thank you. Um, yeah, so where the question is, how do I feel about my creative journey?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's a good question. I feel At the moment, I feel tired. I feel fatigued. I think I've forgotten about how much, not that I've forgotten, but I feel like life has thrown a few curveballs my way. And so my creative journey hasn't been as smooth as I would have liked it to be, but I'm still grateful. I'm grateful for the the ability to still do what I want to do, even if it's not at the pace that I want to do it at. And I'm also grateful to God for the change in direction. At first, it was really hard for me to adjust to this new um, path that the Lord has taken me on, but I'm glad that He's helping me to adjust to it. So I'm just concerned. I guess one of my concerns is just how tired I am,
Okay.
like physically, doing full-time work. From coming from the creative industry where I was doing that full time and I seem to have boundless amounts of energy to now coming to corporate and doing that full time, and now I'm actually completely tired. So I feel like I need to make a decision very soon
Mm-hmm.
about yeah, I need to make a decision very soon about that. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. I'm right now. I'm just a bit tired. Tired, and it's just concerning. But yeah, that's it.
It does answer the question because I think on this creative journey, we started it excited, thinking that since we're passionate about it and we're good at it and we're improving, it's just going to be easy. And once we've started doing, I already know what to do, so it's just simple. But you forget that the days you were doing it, you had a lot of assistance. You were just not the one in front of the camera alone. So it takes a lot of, yeah, we're getting older. We don't like saying that. We're getting older. It's the season. Oh, there's a lot going on. But thank you for your transparency and vulnerability. I hope you get well soon and hope you're able to benefit from today's conversation. All right. Then we have Ishoma. You're next. If you're not ready, then we'll go to Emmanuel.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, ma'am.
Evening.
Sorry. Okay, I don't know how I'm supposed to Okay, my name is Isioma. My name is Isioma. Um, at the moment, I am okay. At the moment, I'm what's the word now? I don't know the word. I don't know the
You're
word to
juggling a
describe.
lot with 2 kids and everything. You're juggling a lot.
I don't know the I don't know the word to describe where I am emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
You say you're just numb. You're
Yes,
just
I am. I'm trying not to be tired. I'm tired and I'm trying not to be tired, both emotionally, and I think that is even affecting my spiritual life, my word life. I think I am just in a limbo. That's the word. I just,
okay.
yes. So,
Hmm. Thank you for that vulnerability. And I hope that as we have these conversations, it's going to help you to realize that many people go through that phase. It's a phase. The reason you're part of a community is that when one person is numb and struggling with that sense of who am I as a creative anymore, as in, do I even fit in? Where do I fit in? Especially when you have multiple gifts, it becomes quite difficult to even articulate what you are going through. You're just like, I'm just there. And that just there, if we look deeper, there is much more to it. But the first step is actually just understanding that it's a position, but it's not a position that you're going to be for the rest of your life. And there are active things that you can do and we can do together that will gradually take you out of it and pull you out of that place. And hopefully today's session talks a little bit about that. Thank you very much. All right, Emmanuel.
Good evening. Good evening,
Good
ma. Good evening,
evening.
everyone.
Good evening.
Ma, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. About earlier, I'm sorry about that. My network. Uh,
That's all right.
um. Okay. It was last week. Yeah, I was discussing with a friend. So we are like 5 of us. We
Mhm.
started this journey. So and I realized that I'm the only one. In this currently right now because most of them has dropped out. And it's not really been, yeah, it has not been easy though, because uh my name life is just it's draining. Like yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's draining to the extent that it really like it has changed me in a lot of ways, in the good way and the other way. And I've lost uh friends in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Not really like in time of
I know.
communication and the rest. And does affect me one way or the other, but and I've been able to gain a lot also.
Good.
Uh, so and through it, I met you.
Yes.
Yeah, I met a lot of people, and I'm grateful for that.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to focus on the good part, even though I just got home not too long though, but
Okay.
I'm tired and the rest, but I'm just trying to look on the good side of it. And also, I'm grateful. Yeah, before I usually have this, and I think through this, I've been able to like acquire a lot of skills, be it
Good.
that will help my personal life and my spiritual life also. So
Mm.
I'm just saying I'm trying and I'm trying to do better. Yeah,
Thank you
that's it.
very much for sharing. You're trying to build better, and that is what we have to remember because it's about us as creatives. Our mind is our best asset. Our mind. How we see ourselves before the world sees us. It's about how we believe in ourselves first before the world believes in us, believe in our craft, believe that we are good, believe that we are the best version, believe that we are improving ourselves every day. And that's what's important to us as creatives. Sometimes it's not about the tools we have, it's not about just showing up for showing up's sake. It's you and yourself what do you believe about yourself? There are lots of motivational speakers that have spoken on believing, believing, believing. But I want us to move from believing to becoming. Because you may see yourself as that best creative, but you don't become that best creative if you don't take action. And if you take action once, it's just your wishful identity. But it's your daily alignment, what we do every single day that is going to help us build and shape the future that we want. So today we'll speak about believing and becoming. And after that, we will kind of look at how we can build our routines. I wrote something on my Substack about my morning, how I build my morning routines. You can check that out if you have access to the Substack, but it's good. So we've been told to visualize, right? Affirm manifestation. Many people believe in manifestation. But what happens when believing is not enough? What if believing in yourself without becoming keeps us stuck? And I would explain, which is what I was saying. We have to believe in ourselves, first of all, but that's the beginning of the journey, not the end. We have to have dreams and aspirations of us for ourselves, about ourselves. We need to see ourselves as the best thing since sliced bread. In your industry, most of the time we say, oh, I'm an aspiring singer. I remember when I was a radio host, I said, oh, I just work in a small radio station. And then God just corrected me and said, no, you work in a radio station. Why are you making yourself seem smaller because you're not working with the BBC or a big radio station? I'm a radio presenter. I'm not an aspiring radio presenter. So that's what I believe. But how do I now become what I believe that I am? Is it just by words of affirmation? Is it just by having a vision board and looking at that vision board daily? Because people say, oh, a vision is a picture of the future, paint a picture of the future. You see so many people's vision boards, they have upright, if they want to be a woman that is in the media. They may have Wendy Williams, if they like that laid back approach, they will have pictures of these people and then they'll say, this is who I am. Is that enough? Is it enough to believe and dream about what you want to achieve? I'll go to you, Victoria. And I'll ask you a question that would help you. Have you ever had a dream that inspired you to start doing something? And then all of a sudden, that same dream began to weigh you down when you got into it.
Okay, yes, good evening, ma. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So it's according to your question, I wanted to, as a mass comm student then, because
Yes.
I usually see these people on TV. I'm like, oh, I want to be like this lady. I want to be like this pretty lady on the TV that is reading out the news. I was so aspiring to be like them. But when I got into the course, when I got into school, and I started losing interest in it. I was like, no, I do not actually want to be at the forefront of things like that. I started like having deeper understanding of what those things entails, because I really do not actually like publicity that much. I really don't want to be known. I saw all the things that accompanies what it entails for them to be that beautiful girl, that beautiful woman that is usually on that TV. So I withdrew my interest and I diverted my interest to something else in my course, mass communication. So
Okay.
that's it, ma.
All right. So sometimes the weight of the work when there's difference between theory and practice. It's just like me. I'm supposed to be an academic. In the academic part, I love politics, or rather studying about it. I was sick. I was going through a difficult time. Then Donald Trump became president. And I sat to myself and I told myself, I said, come, you read all the books, you will do all this, you do all your research, only for one man to scatter everything, peace deal that you'll be working on with one tweet. I was like, I'm not doing it again. I'm serious. That's how I just said, nope, I can't do this. And then I started looking at the trend. I'm like, okay, we want to be the people that bring these peace treaties. We want people that do this. But the reality of the world is that people are just imagine everybody in politics is mad. Everybody has their own selfish agenda. they've lobbied for something, and you're coming with good intentions. So I realized that the hands I was going to play with were going to drown me, and I left it completely. I decided not to stop going to that aspect and do a PhD in that, even if all my lecturers wanted that. So that was a dream that I neglected before. Came back when the Chibok girls were missing, and I was always saying this is what the media should be doing, and then left again, but found myself in somewhere else, then still got stuck in that place. There are sometimes that the weight of the creative process can weigh us down. I always say I need a manager for my brain. I just want to create, speak like this. Person should be booking the stages, be having all those things, be doing the content, be getting content from what I say. But for me and all these other things, it weighs me down the way the best people do. In the media, the UK media keeps recycling the same people. How many times have Ant and Dec won an award? And no other people are being brought in. This is first time people are somebody replaced them. Ant and Dec winning the same award every year. So it's like when people are used to particular faces, they use those faces all on again and again. Being in the media and somebody trying to get in, it's difficult. Even if you have all the equipment and all these things, it weighs you down. It becomes a burden. Believing in yourself is a start, but it's not enough. All right. Anyone else wants to speak on this? Okay. Somebody, you still get a chance to talk. Now, most of us, when we started this creative journey, we had different aspirations. We said, this is kind of, oh, I just want to be the best graphic designer. I just wanted to do this. You add these things put somewhere. Now that you face the reality of what your industry is about, at least you have a better understanding. You are no longer outside looking in, you are inside. You understand the emotional weight, you understand every single thing, right? So there is who you are currently, and there is who you want to become. So I want to be someone that creates productivity resources that all companies use. So I want to be have tools that are not just pretty but transform lives, that make somebody to sit down and have that deep reflection, but it doesn't stop at the reflection. There is a way for them to continue doing something. So that's who I want to be. That's who I want to be. Who am I currently? What are the actions I am taking currently that will take me to the place that I want to be? Are the actions you are taking currently, and this is a rhetorical question, are the actions that you're taking currently going to make you that presenter, that graphic designer, that email writing expert, that legend that you want to be the way you're acting today? Will the person that is the best in your industry live their life the way you lived your life today, or the way you've lived your life this year? It's simple. It's a simple yes or no. Will there be people that would make commitments to themselves and keep it? Because there's a gap between who you are and who you want to be. And that gap is based on your habits, your beliefs, and a couple of other things. Some things we can change, some things we can evolve and manage properly. So how do you see your future self? I see my future self as someone that understands our industry, understands marketing, and has a team behind that to take our ideas out there. I'm speaking on stages, I'm running productivity conferences quarterly. I am doing all these things. I have my annual workshops that I host. I see all these things that I am doing. So the person that is doing all that, we have a calendar that is controlled with our books their events in advance, unlike me that is just trying to book my December event now, would have conditioned themselves in a different way. So I believe that I am that person already. I believe that I can create those resources. I can stand in front of people. I'm the go-to person when people want to think about efficiency and effectiveness. They come to me. I believe I am that person. But the myth of just believing is not enough. Because if I believe that I am this person and I do not have the structure behind me, I will burn out. If I just use mental effort with no muscle behind me, I'll burn out. If I am just using my imagination, but I'm not having a way to integrate it into a system that can be duplicated, so I do not have to be everywhere, it's not going to succeed. So most of us understand who we are. We believe we are something. We want to become a better version of ourselves. So what have you been trying to believe that you haven't prepared yourself to sustain? Because sustaining something is important. You know, we say Nigerians have a bad maintenance culture. Our country builds things, they do not last. We don't have a way to sustain what we built. So what have you been trying to believe? This one is, you know, you're believing that you haven't prepared yourself to sustain. This is a few seconds for you to reflect and write. Okay, oh, I forgot. You should have your pen and paper because you're going to be doing some reflections and writing. And if you want me to explain the question further, let me know. I'll give you, and this writing is like a mindless flow. I'm not going to read it. You don't have to share it if you don't want to. You don't have to be grammatically correct. All you're doing is getting the ideas out of your head and onto paper for the next 5 minutes. And then we would go to the next part. So I'll pause here. And if anybody needs or clarity, ask questions. We'll be back at 7:38. Okay, so you've got like 60 more seconds. Okay, let's check in. You don't have to share, but how did it feel thinking about this question? Did it feel comfortable? Did it feel like initially, why am I even writing this? Anyone care to share? Yes?
Sorry, yeah, for me it was like a reality check.
Okay.
Yeah, it just helped me to remember that there is such a thing as wishful thinking and the amount of work that I need to put in. I know for a fact I'm not putting in that much at the moment. And it just made me think about what I need to do to ensure that I do have the energy and the time to put in the work that is required to get back to where I need to be to where I need to be.
Okay, fantastic. And when you saw that discrepancy, how did it make you feel? Because
Maybe.
you acknowledge the fact that you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
It made
Is
me
it
feel
because, sorry, is it because you don't have time because you have a 9 to 5 and you're already worn out, or what do you think the reason is?
that's a good question. I do believe that I am too busy with other stuff. I think I have got a lot on my mind. So I've got work and I've got this, I've got that, I've got that. And so there's mental fatigue and there's physical fatigue. So I need to be a bit more mindful. Oops, sorry, my alarm. I need to be a bit more mindful of the time I go to bed. I've been waking up early and I've been able to get a bit more done, but at the same time going to bed late, which is just perpetuating the cycle of me being tired. So I need to actually have a good sleeping schedule.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing. Emmanuel said it was very uncomfortable to feel. It was a very uncomfortable feeling to sit down with yourself and ask yourself this question. Anyone else?
Yeah, so for myself, what have I been trying to believe that I haven't prepared myself to sustain? Personally, it just kind of got me thinking, or it brought up questions I already kind of started to have about what I am actually trying to build out here, and maybe if there's a different direction I could take it. Um, so the first thing for me was the People's Queen, which is a part of what really started off with my personal brand building. And that was, you know, being the People's Queen was a brand that I took on quite quickly, but I wasn't able to sustain that. So I've been trying to break away from that, as you know, DK. And then bringing it back to presenting, I believe I'm a good presenter and I could be a great one. And just all the extra little things that could be added on to that and what I'm trying to build in the events world. But now this question got me thinking, well, in terms of sustaining that, the market is looking quite well, it's like it's getting saturated where, well, from my perspective, I'm not sure if it's actually quite saturated, but I'm noticing that other presenters are also thinking more along the same lines that I am in terms of offering this and offering that. So writing this, maybe it got me thinking, well, how can I be different? Like I need to start thinking a bit differently to everybody else and doing something quite different. So it wasn't an uncomfortable conversation, an uncomfortable question for me, but it was more like, yeah, I guess it's got me thinking maybe I need to start thinking about things maybe in a slightly different direction, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm glad it's making us to either sit with the fact that it's uncomfortable to ask yourself difficult questions And then the creative industry, there is no performance review. No one is watching over you to see if you did your work right. Oh, this is how you should present yourself to people. You are taking this risk and you're just wishing that people are in rooms talking about your work, even in the rooms that you are not. And you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to seem like you're being pushy, but you also want to position yourself great in a way that people will find you irresistible. I saw something from someone, and I'm just going to read what she said about this. She said, I watched an interview from Issa Rae the other day, and she was saying how she was doing college appearances back in the awkward black girl days. I remember those awkward black girl days. For $100, when someone from one of the schools pulled her aside and told her to charge more. Then in the interview, she said that she struggled with her own sense of worth when it comes to charging or landing deals. She went on to say she's always been happy to be in the room. So she was the type of person that, oh, I just want to be in this room. I just want to be seen. And as creative, most of us tend to do this. Moral of the story is that we have to be grateful to be in the spaces and gather our coins and know that what we carry is divine. That there's this internal pull for us, but it must be done. Gone are the days of the starving artist. There are ways we can definitely make money. And then someone else said this. I tell my clients and other entrepreneurs all the time that you're going to get into the room because you are great. Expect to be there. Act like you deserve to be there. When you expect to be there, you can focus on charging your value, not your worth. You are priceless, but it's a fee you are willing to accept. So charge that and add 20% on top that. Since many don't charge like a mediocre white man. And I always say, charge like a mediocre white man called Bob that has no idea what he's doing. That the difference between us and this mediocre white man is this. He knows he is average and still has the audacity to charge more, and he will always get it. So I know we're not talking about our fees and everything here, but I think that I know Issa Rae and where she is now. I've loved that growth and how she has changed the trajectory of Black storytelling. When she started Awkward Black Girls, I followed that series years ago. Like it should be over 10 years ago. And then I am like, this lady stayed on it. She did not deviate from it. She stayed producing those awkward Black girl series, just doing movies, just doing stuff. And she deserved to be in every single room that she found herself in, but she did not think she deserved it. So we need to know that we deserve to be in these rooms. We need to know that we are worth it, like the Maybelline people will say. And it starts with us believing in ourselves. Then we now start becoming that person that will charge that amount. Because becoming is not something that happens just like that. It's not wishing, it's wiring. It's the way we wire ourselves. It's the way we frame our thoughts. It's about building the system that carries what your faith or what your belief is calling in. So this person you believe that you are, we need to articulate it properly. I don't think I put anything about that. But we need to articulate how we see ourselves. Who are you as a creative? I'll probably do a session on that, if I remember, next week to say, how do we even see ourselves? How do we define ourselves? What do we call ourselves? How do we then write that bio that shows who we are? So it's going to be an exercise that will make us understand our what and articulate it. So when someone will ask for you and say, what do? You won't just say, oh, I'm just trying presenting. You'll be able to say fully with your chest, I'm a presenter. We have to have that confidence to formulate things our own. People talk about manifestation. I don't want to go into all that. But even if we are manifesting, we cannot manifest what your system cannot maintain, which is something I said about a maintenance culture. We have a bad maintenance culture from the country we come from. And if we don't start doing things differently, we're going to continue running in circles the way our nation is. Because we're building the system of self in this phase of creative recovery. It's aligning identity, building that rhythm and intentions with what you say you want. So today we're talking about, what do you want? Do you believe you want that thing you want, you can achieve it? And then we will now look at our identity and see, how do we even speak about ourselves? How do we speak to ourselves? Because for us, our greatest enemy is our mind. The things that we see someone else exceeding, and we just spew out so much negative thoughts about ourselves. So we have to retrain our mind. There's a gap between the way we are, the way the world sees us, and the way we see ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves more than any other person. Once I started believing in myself, others caught up. They will. If they don't want to, they should go. We're not concerned with what every other person has to say, but we have to think about who we have to become. So most of us have been praying, we've been wishing to become this person. So what do I need to become to all what I have been praying for? You've been praying for a specific goal. So today we're going to look at the mindsets, the habits, emotional regulation, and relationship to fear and creativity. Just briefly, we're not going to go in depth into it, because these are the 4 areas that person that is the best in your industry has done properly. They've been able to regulate their emotions. They have the habits that sustain what they build. And their mindset is about seeing themselves as the best. The challenging thoughts will come, but when they come, what do you do? So, like I said, identity, habits, environment, belief. This is the structure of becoming. Think about your identity, how you see yourself. Think about your habits, what you do. Think about your environment, where you are located. And sometimes our physical environment may not be what we want it to be. It's not that ideal penthouse or that ideal country house, but it's still a safe space that we can create for ourselves. Let us know that we're safe in this creative place. One of my favorite songs from, because I'm a music person, from Cinderella, the Black Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston, was In My Own Little Corner. And everybody can look for the lyrics to that song, but it's basically said, in my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. And I remember hearing that song as an introverted child that everybody felt they could ride and bully. And then I did not know, some of my friends were fighting behind the scenes for me. Some of them just confessed now, oh, I beat this girl up because of you. I was like, really? She said, yes, she was always trying to bully you. So going from that song kind of protected me and made me see that I could be wherever I want to be. I don't need to be everywhere to be seen. Now, even with the internet, when you carve your own space of real estate, wherever you carve it, you can be whoever you want to be. So we're allowed to dream. Then belief is how you see yourself. So identity. So we think about your internal narratives. We can't think about every single thing. So your identity is how you see yourself. We said we'll talk more about this next week, because I think now that I'm going through this, it has to be a standalone. It's how you see yourself, not just how the world sees you. You look into the mirror, you see the worst of yourself. The stories you tell yourself about yourself are not stories that other people will tell about you. You tell yourself that, oh, other people have done this or less things and they are in a better position than I am. Maybe it's because I am not good enough. Maybe it's because I'm not fine enough. Maybe it's because people just don't like me. I am not likable. I don't have what it takes. What stories about myself must evolve? What stories about you as an individual? What are the stories about you that must evolve? You need to think about these stories. It could be stories about your qualifications. It could be stories about you and how you appear in front of certain people. It could be stories about your acceptance. It could be stories about, as a Black woman, how you are your identity is tied to family, to marriage, and all these things, and what you've told yourself. It could be stories about, okay, you've become a mother. Oh, I can never do any other thing because I'm now a mom. I must only live for my children. I don't have time to think. It could be stories about anything at all. What do you tell yourself? And just pick one that must evolve. One story that must evolve for some people is a story that they don't even think is an important story, something that they've never even paid attention to. What stories about yourself must evolve? We'll just take a few seconds to think and write about that, and then we'll come back. Okay, let's go to the next one. What small act brings me closer to that version of me? What do you need to do repeatedly? What's your daily proof that you are walking in the right path? What small act brings you closer to the version of you that is thriving? It may be waking up early. It may not going on TikTok. It doesn't have to be something that is massive. Because sometimes we think that, oh, it's the big things. Sometimes it's the little things we do over and over again. Like showing up for creative recovery is a good one, because that is an action that took you remembering that we're having something and then showing up. So what small act brings you closer to that version of you that you want to be? Okay, let's continue. The call will be recorded, so Lucky should put it up. What spaces or influences strengthen or sabotage me? So, what places strengthen you? What environment should you surround yourself with? So, the environment are the people, digital conversations like this. So what places strengthen you and what places sabotage you? People, tools, system, just reflect. What places or tools strengthen or sabotage you? And you will get the worksheet for this. For me, for example, playing certain music, Christian music, influences me. Surrounding myself with people in my mastermind that I can talk to. That's why I'm really, really keen on getting our mastermind and accountability group working successfully this time. That strengthens me. What sabotages me is negative people. For example, a very close friend of mine, he was 2 years older than me when we were kids. So he's calling Fireface. Fire burnt his face, and I was the one running around and screaming, and then sawdust. We just used to get injured all the time, and it was just a nasty combination. And one day he said, "Oh, how is that your small business?" And I was shocked. I was like, "Ah?" I said, "Yeah, how is that your small business?" Now, why did I give that example? Sometimes people that we respect and love and care for, still in class, people that we don't think can hurt us with their words do hurt us because of what they've said and what they've done. So are we going to keep surrounding ourselves with those people? Are we going to tell ourselves a different story and surround ourselves with other people? So spaces that influence us, if coming into a group or community helps you, my mastermind girls helped me a lot. I remember when there was a strain and one person had to leave, that really affected everybody. And we've not still come back to that coalition we had before. Being in environments where there is respect for others. So I intentionally look forward to this. What sabotages me are call or conversations with people that just try and say, just that small thing you're doing, you want to charge me this. Oh, it should be something that is easy now. I can do it now. I don't need to. It's not just branding. It's not just putting logo on something. Those negative words, people like, oh, you're still doing that your small job that you're doing. I thought you were presenting. Why did you stop? Or people talking about, oh, you've added weight too. There are certain things people do, especially those that we like, that could sabotage our journey. And we need to ensure that we are positioning ourselves in a way that we are not in that environment where it's always the negatives about our work that are emphasized, always negatives. Where we are saying that, yes, you have the ability to express yourself, but I also have to think about how I want to be seen and how I want my work to be spoken about. What we're doing is not the normal road that everybody wants you to take, right? it's a difficult thing to be a creative. Some people say, oh, it's not influencer, it's not just shooting video. Streamers are insulted. Everybody talks down on our industry until you're making big bucks to shut them up. Figure out what strengthens you and what seeps your energy. You need to know. Now, belief. Belief is something what we believe about ourselves, but also what we do. What do I trust about my process even when it is slow? For me, it can be that God is in it. So even if it's slow, even if everybody seems to be growing in a direction, I'm growing in a different direction. God is with me, I cannot fail. That can be a scripture that I trust about my process. I trust about the process that even if I make a mistake, I will still grow and learn from it. We have to have something that sustains us, because the days where we can't do anything are plenty. The time where it is slow, then vap, you're grown. People say you're overnight success. How do you ensure that you stay on track? What do you trust about your process even when it is slow? It may be because somebody believes in me. It may be because I believe in myself, because I know I'm good. You need to articulate this. I'll give you 2 minutes to just write, because I know I was talking. All right, let's continue. So, what did you think writing about that stuff? What do you think about this? 4 questions, just quickly. What did you think about writing on these 4 things? Your belief, your environment, your habits, and your, what's the last one? Habits, identity, habits, belief, environment. Did it feel easy seeing yourself and reframing your mind? You can type in the chat or you can let me know.
Oh, hello, ma.
Yes, Emmanuel.
Okay. There is something I have been able to like. Maybe let me just say for myself. I've been able to like. I've been observing. I realize that our environment also matters a lot. Like if you are too familiar with an environment, it's kind of difficult for someone to, shall I say, to really succeed um in in something he or she is doing. Like you feel comfortable, and there's this something that is more of like see finish of a thing with people. You know, once you are in a familiar area and people will be like, oh, is it not this thing that you are doing? Like it's create this negative energy, like, oh, you started uh like like at home like this. And whenever I go, you'll be like, we are just praising this, pressing this. Better go
Exactly.
and find, like, you are pressing your laptop, you are pressing what was there. I'll be like, oh, today I'm tired. You'll be like, is it not that you are just pressing your laptop? I'll be like, so, like, it's
Yeah.
like I can't, like, it's just something like, it's only few, like, to the extent that I remember a very long time ago. My mom's friend, yeah, I went to his place for like a week. So we're working on a project like that. And the mom was like, "Ah, these guys are not going out and they are buying this." I didn't know it was I think it was in the morning.
Mm.
He just saw that EFC just knock on the door. Ah, come on, they just park us like that. When we
Uh-uh.
got to their office, when we got to their office, that was, I think, yeah, we spent the night there.
Wow.
So I not knowing that it was his mom that called the FCC. Like,
So
we are like,
they now ask people, what do you do? And they found out what people did.
yeah. So it was those guys. They were explaining to the mom that, okay, this is what, because she was scared. Like, oh, probably we are into.
Let my son and his friend not get me into trouble. Oh. But that's a good
So
mother.
so she was scared. Like, she did not really understand what we were doing then.
See?
So she was so scared, so she reported us like that. So that would be my first time in
Oh my
such stuff.
goodness, that's so
Like, I was
funny.
scared to the extent that it's like, to the extent I could not even remember anything. It was they now started explaining to her stuff like that. Even after the whole explanation, she still did not even believe. It was when things started changing. Like, okay, she was like, oh, like stuff like that. When someone has results, it's not about just the process before people can really
Mhm.
truly believe in what someone is doing. And now she'll be the one to now, yeah, come and teach me this thing. My friend said I can do this thing. So it's when people started seeing results, and environment also matters, and because it's changed, because since then I stopped going to his place. It was the mom, like the whole stuff. So it's not, it's usually drown, like the takes away this uh should I say, this feeling, this
Yeah.
motivation, like
Mhm.
just drain you down. And if care is not
Very
taken,
genuine.
you can just give up
Mhm.
on your dream. So environment and see finish also from people. It's not it's not really like it really does slow down a lot of things.
Hmm. Oh, that must have been very, very discouraging because after that you go and drop CV immediately. You're like, I beg, it's not me, they will come and carry later. But you were not found wanting. You could explain what you were doing, but there was that fear that crippled you. That's a crazy one, but thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm afraid that
Yeah.
we won't be able to finish everything I wanted us to do today in 17 minutes. So we have two options. We do part 3 next week, but you're supposed to kind of write your desired vision. My nephew is calling me and he doesn't used to hear one call and everything. So you're going to let me. I've put my phone on do not disturb. I don't know why. Oh, it went out do not disturb at 8 o'clock. All right, sorry about that. So we are supposed to think about let's do a tax at home, right? Oh goodness, this boy. Let's do a tax at home, right? The tax will be to do this part. Write your desired vision of yourself. The person who has that life, describe who they are, right? So you are like, oh, this is the person. I am this as a designer. You've looked at Chris Do, you've looked at people in your industry, and then you've defined the kind of person you are, how your day runs, what you do, kind of deals, how much you're getting paid, your desired vision, right? The person who has that kind of life. Describe how this person thinks. how they act, how they move, how they rest, how they create. Then you're supposed to now list the gap between you and the gap and that person. So the gap between you and this person that is already experiencing what you experience, what you want to experience. For example, if you're a graphic designer and you've seen the way Chris Joe has built the future and you want to be like him, you now write, oh, describe how you would be in 6 to 12 months. I don't want you to think, I think I'm going to record this as an audio so it goes with of the WhatsApp group also. So you're going to describe the person, the desired vision of who you want to be, right? I want you to think about what you want to achieve and experience within 6 to 12 months. Think about somebody that is already there. So if you can't paint that kind of picture, think about somebody that is already there, what they get paid, the quality of work they produce, the credibility they have in their industry, the character, how they are a voice and they're not just making noise, the bookings that they have, the decisions that they make to work with someone and not to work with somebody. So they have a choice. So because most of the time we make deals out of desperation. So that's your desired vision. The second part of the task is the person who has that life. Now you've described someone, like I said, one way is to look at someone in your industry already doing that, or you can combine 2 or 3 people and say, now, this person, how do they think? What are their habits? How do they act? How do they move? How do they make decisions? How do they rest? How do they create? Think about this person. Then look at your current self, see what you are doing. You have to list where you are currently. Then that would make you identify the gap between where they are and where you are. Your actions, your habits, your mindset, all these things, right? And then finally, you write the gap between us. And you now say, this is going to be my next step. What can I do this week that brings me closer to this identity? Not in belief, but in being. So you are looking at this as the blueprint of exercise that needs to be done. And I believe that if we can do this, we'll be in a better position to continue the conversation next week. What do you think about that?
Good, ma.
Okay. So I've put the voice notes in the WhatsApp group. Emmanuel, please take a screenshot of this page and add it to the WhatsApp group also, so that everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do. And we are able to kind of have that conversation, because we're just halfway through this conversation. Next part, we're supposed to talk about reframing it. And then we now start building our how we want to be acting. So it's not just about dreaming to be the best in your industry, but with the best in your industry be taking calls from on top Okada, or they will know when they're supposed to have their calls and they will book their meetings appropriately. With the best of your industry, we're watching videos and learning from others, or they're just doing wuru to the answer. You are asking yourself these difficult questions and you are answering the questions. There is a worksheet that I will probably also share that goes with this, but the worksheet, it is in 2 ways. It has the slides and the so it has my slides here, it has the worksheet here. So it just tells you what to do. Let me see if the worksheet is here also. So the worksheet part 3 is the task that was given today. I've put a Google link in the chat for you to make a copy, so that you can have your own copy and you'll be able to just work with it. I really want us to do the work. I think that we've had exciting lectures, we've seen lots of things, but let's start applying. Let's end this year different people with different mindsets, still holding on to the belief we have about ourselves, but the way we see ourselves evolves. We see ourselves as better than we are seeing ourselves today. Because that future person, that future self that you've identified in the future, you are becoming that person today by the actions you take or the actions you don't take. I think that's where I would like to end. Or does anybody have any questions or thoughts on how today's session has been?
Actually, it has, yeah, it has been a wonderful,
Okay.
yeah, like to be able to like, I think, let me just say, I think it is very easy to think about it than putting it into writing.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think I've thought a lot of things in my mind, but putting it down also make it more intentional, like about doing some stuff and okay, by about changing ways and doing things differently.
Sure.
And it helps. It helps because it helps in a very big way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps
So
in a big way. It does help in a big way because I think one thing with creatives is our mind is our greatest gift, but it's also our greatest weapon. It's like our Achilles skill. Because some things come to us easy, we just feel like, it just came to me. So it's not something that is so important, right? But then you have other people that don't even have half of the gift you have, but they have had opportunities that are, in fact, out of this world, and you're wondering, how do they consistently take advantage of all these things and just know how to beat the system per se, right? While you're there following the rules, learning, sharing, posting, and crickets is what you're hearing. Just crickets. Even crickets are even better, sir. It'll come to a time where we have to understand that we count and we need to see our value. Trust me, if I haven't started seeing my value in 2014, I won't be here. But that year, when I read that book, The Strength Finder, I started seeing myself as a creative. I saw myself as someone that had strengths. Because many times we just look at what's wrong with us, especially when you are delivering work to clients. And then your paycheck is determined by those clients. Living from paycheck to paycheck is not easy. Having a salary at the end of the month that is fixed, it's a luxury that we should cherish. Some of us don't have that, some of us do. But when you've sent an invoice and you're waiting and you're waiting and your gas bill is due, and you're like, okay, I don't even, you go, you have to pay your team, you will start thinking, and it's crazy. So I said that to say all this. Start believing positive things about yourself, even if you have to write them out and speak it out, even if you have to record it and play it for yourself, even if you have to go to Suno and change it into music that you listen to about yourself to remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself what you are supposed to do. The steadfast creative is one that is diligent in all his ways, right? It's a creative that is diligent, is a creative that is intentional, is a creative that understands their worth. That's who you are. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There will be lots of days where you feel like, I can't continue. So you need to know what you will tell yourself in those slow days. You need to tell yourself what you will say in those slow days. Whether you have to play a song that just reminds you of who you are, bam, still do that. Remember, there are things and places that could sabotage you. especially with young boys and parents doing this and saying this. It's not easy. Your child is just, all you know is go to a work and come back. Now you're saying somebody is working from home, even if it's to say, okay, maybe I will get an offer letter and print it out and show her. They don't give me job, offer letter that will calm her down. Okay. But it's still not enough. That fear, that anxiety that comes with all these things doesn't help you out your journey as a creative. So this period, as you've addressed certain things, as you've been made to ask yourself difficult questions, don't hesitate to spend time reminding yourself how good you are in Christ. Don't hesitate to start reminding yourself of who you are. If nothing else works, find something and hold on to something that the creator of heaven and earth has given to you. That is faith. That is faith. That's why community is important. That's why I'm bringing back co-working sessions. So we can, even if you don't feel like working, and there is the debrief session where people just talk, just listen. Even if it's not about you, still listen, contribute if you can. So it takes a village, but we have to contribute to that village. Then we now have all introverts in a group that our own is just to be hiding in groups. That means we have to find a way to communicate. It has to be intentional. So, any last words for today, Lola? I'll take that as a no. It is my desire that this session has been a wonderful session for everybody, and that these creative recovery sessions will do what we want it to do. Help us recover that light and reduce that creative burden that we carry as creatives. Most creatives, our hearts are very heavy and we don't have a place to express it. Because sometimes we can't put into words what is even going on. We can't articulate it, but we just keep on pushing to the next day, pushing to the next day. This is your opportunity to just go out and allow yourself dream and reflect on what you're doing. The sign that good things are coming. All right then. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for coming for my session today. Creative recovery resumes tomorrow. Hopefully the session is useful. Sorry, creative recovery is next week, Monday. For everybody here, we're meeting in Sabiko on Friday. Everybody that's like creating their solution frames, join. And we're going to start talking about the business of creativity with the Win Without Pitching book. We'll be reflecting on that. So I'll catch up with you and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Yeah, bye, ma.